This is the Dave and Shecky Show. We got this groovy podcast for ya. Reviewing crazy tunes or quoting Twain and Sting and Dune. We'll bring ideas to share like bonus points for extra flair, cause it's the frickin' Dave and Shecky Show. This is the Dave and Shecky Show. We're bringing you this groovy review. We might preview movies, bake some bread, or drink some smoothies. So come on, have way too much caffeine. You roll up some rivers, I'll reference some Raffy. This is the Dave and Shecky Show.
Hello.
Oh, God. The dog tags and the dry mouth. It's a twofer. Ugh. Come on. Take a sip, please.
I'm not going to do it.
Take a fucking sip, bro. Oh, man. I'm taking a sip because your dry mouth has made me feel like
You're dry mouthing me crazy.
I don't have the dry mouth.
Oh.
I have a nice beverage here. Why don't you take a sip of your nice beverage?
I just did.
No, you didn't.
I did. I took an imaginary sip.
That's a lie. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to, this is episode 16 of the Middle-Aged Cool Kids super terrific podcast featuring your pals.
Norm and Chomsky. I'm Norm.
I believe it's Noam Chomsky.
Oh, I'm Norm Chomsky.
His lesser-known brother, yes. His twin.
The lesser-known brother. He's just a hot dog salesman on 98th Street.
Well, there's no such thing as just a hot dog salesman. He's out there working hard for his money. Norm Chomsky. God bless you, sir.
Not like his commie brother.
Noam.
Happy Noam Chomsky Day.
Garden Noam Chomsky. All right.
In a world where Noam Chomsky is actually a right wing. That's where we live.
Yeah, I mean, basically, right? At this point.
Hey, how you doing, huh? Boom.
The boom, when after how you doing, boom, like I think of boom as saying something like, I just got you.
Hey.
You've been gotten.
Hey.
Boom.
Hey, I don't mean to blow for you, but
boom?
But Rocky wins this one there, buddy.
Oh, snap. A spoiler alert. Spoiler alert for Rocky 2, apparently.
Hey.
Who knew? Anywho, today's show, yesterday I said, Dave, I'm going to do the show. Why don't you come up with something to talk about? And what did you come up with, Dave?
I don't know. You won't have any old white men to kick around anymore. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, that is not what I came up with.
You can kneel throughout the show if you like.
Do not kneel throughout the show.
No white men will hurt you.
Okay. That's Kevin Hart, and we no longer care about Kevin Hart.
Never thought he was very funny. Actually, thought he was the opposite of funny.
Well, I honestly feel like Kevin Hart would not be where he was today if it weren't for older white men in positions of power and authority within the studios and comedy pushing him through. So let's see. As opposed
to Patrice O'Neal, who was a true comedic genius.
Yes.
Who had no problem with older white men.
No.
He had a problem with everybody.
He had a problem with everybody.
So fuck you, Kevin Hart.
Yeah. 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 He's not...
And while we're at it...
I have... Okay.
I just got to say, Madonna has the finest sense of fashion I've ever seen.
Modernity.
All right? I'll just leave it at that. I am a huge fan of bone caveman memorabilia.
Will you take a sip, bro? Take a fucking sip, please.
Stop that. I don't want to take a sip. I like
can't.
The essence of this.
I don't like the essence of it. It drives me insane. Oh, my God.
They found a long-lost duet with Carly Simon and Mick Jagger.
Okay. I don't know why.
I think that's really a wonderful piece. I'm sure that's going to be something to behold.
All right. Anyway.
Supposedly they're sitting next to each other by a piano singing a love song. A battle of the lips. Battle of the teeth.
Maybe Battle of the Mouths.
Battle of the bad people.
I don't believe either is worse than anything else we've seen recently. Anyhow,
They're bad people, I tell you. That colleague Simon is no good.
That's not true.
She's the lesser of the Simon sisters.
She is not.
How do you know? We never saw the other Simon sister.
Well, I hear she dates Norm Chomsky.
That's what, yeah. Norm Chomsky's a very fine man, unlike his commie brother,
Okay.
Bobby Chomsky.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So,
Is this where the credits come in 15 minutes into the film, which I always love?
well, we're not quite 15 minutes in, but I mean, seriously.
Okay.
Seriously. So what I wanted to talk about today was different top 10 drummers lists.
Well, it takes different strokes to play a proper snare drum.
This is the thing. I have not told Dave about this. I didn't want him
Holy cannoli.
preparing
Drummers.
in any way.
I better do some research.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
he was not given any
Holy cannoli.
lead time because off the cuff Dave is better than prepared Dave. So I picked a few top 10 lists, and they all vary, and some are just downright disrespectful to the history of drumming.
Downright disrespectful.
So I'm going to go with the number 10 from Gibson.com.
Oh, that's a great site. Yeah,
Gibson?
go there all the time.
To the guitar?
Never been there.
Gibson.com? Okay. Well, they have their top 10 drummer list of all time. Their number 10 is Ringo Starr.
Okay.
You're all right with him being in the top 10?
Well, I got to see who's 9 and 8.
This is going to be a long show.
Okay. Well, yeah, Ringo Starr in the top 10, absolutely.
All right. UltimateGuitar.com has Dave Lombardo as top 10, as number 10.
Strong player.
Okay.
Excuse me. I bet you didn't know that Dave Lombardo was from Cuba.
I don't know anything about Dave
Cuban-born
Lombardo.
heavy metal drummer from Slayer.
Okay, so between Dave Lombardo and Ringo Starr, who are you giving it to?
Ringo Starr.
All right. The top10s.com website has something like hundreds of thousands of votes. Their number 10 is Joey Jordison.
That's insanity.
Joey Jordison is an American musician, songwriter, and record producer best known for his work as the former drummer and co-songwriter for the heavy metal band Slipknot,
More like Slipknot.
as well as guitarist in the horror punk band Murder Dolls. So you're going to go ahead and say the top10s.com list, number 10, Joey Jordison, no good.
Least, I'm not saying he's no good. I'm just saying he's the least valid entry so far.
No, I'm not saying he's no good. I'm saying their list, their number 10.
Thus far, that is a
Shitty
beat
list.
entry.
All
no
right.
pun intended.
eDrum Reviews.
Oh, I love E-drums.
You do?
They're really realistic.
eDrumReviews.com gives their number 10 place to Ian
That's Ian Pace.
Ian Pace.
Ian Pace.
Ian Pace. That's what I thought. Is he Italian? Because it certainly looks
He
Italian.
might be. He's English, I believe.
Okay.
He's a fucking amazing drummer. Ian Pace is earned his place in the annals. That's all I'm saying.
In the annals. So for the top 10 so far, you still giving it to Ringo Starr?
Well, this is the thing. Ringo Starr is a unique thing.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know if Ringo Starr's. He's not brilliant. He's just. He's like Paul Stanley in a way. Like, his lack of technique forced him to play certain things, and it just so happens that those things he played are perfect for the song. They're like, song parts.
Okay. So you're down with Ringo Starr. Ian Pace? Also, you give a 2 thumbs up for him being number 10, or would you put him higher?
I wouldn't put him at number 10, actually, but he's a very, very, very good drummer.
Okay.
He's great.
He's great. Okay.
He's from Deep Purple, you know what I mean?
Yes, I know.
He's a shuffle master.
White Snake and Deep Purple.
He's got a really good technique. One of the
Master.
best, one of the better early heavy metal drummers.
Okay. Now we're on to Rolling Stone's top 10. They give it to Stuart Copeland.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's right in there. Stuart Copeland's in there.
I have to tell you that of all of the top 10s, the Rolling Stone for me was the least offensive.
Which was that again?
Stuart Copeland.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes, Stuart Copeland is definitely a top 10. I mean, he's influenced everyone. Everyone who came after him in rock and pop was influenced by him in one way or another.
There you go. I will agree with that. And then we have LA Weekly.
Oh, he's a great drummer.
They say Phil Collins, number 10.
They say Phil Collins, number 10. Sounds like a really bad lyric.
What do you say about Phil Collins being number 10?
I disagree.
You don't think he's a top 10 drummer?
No.
Top 20?
No.
50?
No.
Wow. Okay. I did not know that.
But
Yes?
he is a great drummer.
Better than Joey Jordison.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. So we know that Joey Jordison not in the top 50. All right.
Phil Collins is better than you might think. I hate to tell you, unless you happen to know. But Phil Collins is an amazing fusion drummer, but
Not a top 10.
he is what he is, and he's not what he's not.
What is he not?
Look, he's a very good progressive rock drummer, like for Genesis. Mm-hmm. And he happened to drift into the jazz rock fusion, where he's innovative in a way, but sort of a cliche in another way, and very limited in his abilities in reality. Like, once you get into that genre, well, then you're getting into like Mike Clark and Chuck Berge. These are two other guys who played for Brand X. Chuck Berge now plays for Billy Joel. And Mike Clark and Chuck Berge are 100 times better than Phil Collins. If you're going to get into that genre, Phil's getting out of his
Wheelhouse?
Yeah, he's getting out of his lane there.
All right.
He's okay, but
Not a top 10.
no, not like that. Not when you're dealing. No.
I'm telling you, the LA Weekly is offensive in every way. So go back to Gibson.
Oh, 1 second though.
Okay, here we
He
go.
does have probably one of the top 10 most known drum fills.
Right.
So,
But that drum fill is not
I'd say
exceptional. It's just catchy in that spot.
Yeah, but like Ringo Starr, Phil Collins is a better musician than drummer.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, he can sing. He plays piano. He probably plays guitar. He's a great drummer. He's just not top 10 drummer.
Right.
He's not like Buddy Rich.
All right. That's fine. No one's saying that you're shitting on him.
He's good. He's just not.
He's not top 10.
Liberty DeVito's better than him.
There you go.
And Liberty DeVito is better than Chuck Berge, and Chuck Berge is better than Phil Collins. Liberty DeVito didn't play for Brand X, but I don't know. And this is the thing. Brand X is an amazing band, but they're another thing. They're like English rock guys who like stumbled upon jazz or something. And like, if you're going to get in that arena, well, now you're comparing yourself to Weather Report and Return to Forever and Miles. And then you're just a joke at that point. You're not really in the same league.
Right.
Percy Jones, the bass player, is not in the same league as Jocko. He's not. And they both play, I mentioned that because they both play fretless, and Percy is another innovator on fretless, but he's not Jocko. And if you're going to get into jazz fusion, well, then you're going to get eaten by the big sharks. They're not that. They're good, but they're not that.
All right.
They're better progressive rock. And once again, they ship out of their zone, and they're going to get called out. Look, Brand X gets a lot of respect, but not by a lot of real heavy jazz guys. They're going to look down on them a little bit.
Well, a little elitism there. All right. Number 9 from Gibson. Remember they gave us Ringo Starr as number 10? Mm-hmm. Their number 9 was Stuart Copeland. So you've already said he is top 10 material.
Yeah.
So you have no problems
Stuart
with Gibson
Copeland,
so
absolutely.
far. Okay. Ultimate Guitar, who gave us Dave Lombardo as number 10. Number 9, they've given us Bill Ward. Bill Ward from Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
You say no?
I say no. I say no.
They say, if Black Sabbath were the founders of metal, Bill Ward is the father of metal drumming.
Bill Ward would tell you that he's not in the top 10. I guarantee you he would.
That's amazing. Well, then you know what? Then I automatically love Bill Ward because someone who is not an egomaniac is refreshing in the music industry. So, no to Bill Ward. Do you think he's great at all?
No, I don't think he's great. He's very good.
Oh, he's very good.
He's very good, but he's not... Look,
Top
he's not
100?
as good as Ian Pace.
Yeah.
He's not as good as John Bonham.
Okay.
And he falls somewhere in between the two of them.
Okay. All right. So that was ultimateguitar.com, Bill Ward for their number 9. The top10s.com, their number 9, Lars Ulrich.
Ulrich or Ulrich?
Ulrich.
Because Ulrich is a bastard. I hate that guy.
I don't know.
Lars Ulrich. I like his father. He's like a Norwegian caveman or something.
That's amazing. But what do you think about Lars being number 9 on the top10s.com drummers list?
I think that's absurd. Terrible. I don't like Lars.
Who's better, Bill Ward or Lars?
Bill Ward.
Okay, there you go. We're gonna get all of this information out. What's wrong with Lars?
He sounds like shit. He's stiff. He sounds stiff. His drums sound horrible to me. They're all metal sounding and thin. He sounds stiff. His beats don't groove.
Okay. I mean, it seems like people on the top10s.com agree with you. This is a voting site, so people could vote for their favorite.
Look, Dave Lombardo's good, but I don't. If you're gonna get in that league now, then we got to get into Gene Hoglan.
Okay, we're not talking about Gene Hoglan quite yet.
Okay, because he's the master of all that stuff, and Gene Hoglan will play circles around Lars Ulrich and what's his name?
Joey Jordison?
I don't know.
Dave Lombardo?
I haven't heard enough Joey Jordison, but from what I can tell, I don't know about that.
All right. Well, the people...
Dave Lombardo's good. And Gene Hoglan, was Dave Lombardo's roadie in the 1980s for a minute there. Anyway, go on.
Some of the comments here about Lars was, shouldn't be anywhere near the top 100. He throws in random fills. He loses track of time. He replaced his ride cymbal with a China cymbal and used it to mask his mistakes. He can't play double bass. He simplifies down a song painfully, so take him off the list.
Okay.
And someone else said, Trolls got Lars this high. So I think people are agreeing that Lars does not deserve the being in the top 10.
I don't think so.
E-Drum Reviews. Cindy Blackman.
Random one, isn't it?
I feel like there's a couple of these places that will try and shoehorn in a woman just so it's not all men.
Cindy Blackman's a great drummer, but to say that she's number 9 out of all these drummers you could mention,
and better than Ian Pace,
suspect. I think. Well, she's probably more accomplished at certain things than Ian Pace, but Cindy Blackman is like. No, I confuse her with the other chick, but
Cindy Blackman Santana is proof that female drummers were just as popular back in the days as they are now.
She was Lenny Kravitz's drummer for years.
Yes.
And she's also a very good jazz drummer. She sounds a lot like Tony Williams. The problem is she sounds too much like Tony Williams. She has no sound of her own.
Oh.
She's not an innovator. She's not a top 10 drummer.
I see. Well,
She's a woman, and she's a black woman, and that's what she is. She's a great drummer. She might be better than me for all I can tell you, but she's not top 10.
She's not an innovator, and therefore does not belong in the top 10.
I don't think she's an innovator. She might be an innovator for women.
No,
and then there's another one, Terry Lynn Carrington.
Well, we're
the two of them are
sticking
confused.
to the
They're
list.
both from the 80s. They're both chick drummers from New York.
All right, sticking to the lists.
She's good. She's got a nice afro.
All right, well that's great. I love an afro.
Santana likes her. I got to tell you, I don't like her with Santana.
Okay.
I mean, not that.
As a couple?
No, as a couple, it's fine. I just don't like her drumming with Santana.
On to the Rolling Stone list. They gave Stuart Copeland number 10. Number 9, they give Al Jackson Jr.
Wow, that's nice of them.
Do you think it's too nice? Is it too generous? Why do you think it's nice as opposed to accurate? You know what? Let's back up 1 second. Al Jackson Jr., the session drummer for the legendary soul label Stax, was known as the human timekeeper until his death in 1975 at the age of 40.
Yes.
During that era, Jackson's distinctively swinging but crisp grooves propelled legendary sides from Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding, and Al Green, with whom Jackson co-wrote the hit Let's Stay Together. And as his reputation grew, superstars from outside the R&B world like Eric Clapton began demanding Jackson's percussive genius. So, number 9 for Rolling Stone. And what do you have to say about that?
He's very solid, very steady, and he kind of like invented or popularized the tom-tom as snare in place of a snare or in addition to the snare. So he'll hit the tom with the snare. Does that on Let's Stay Together. He's very, very simple. That's why he's kind of like Ringo, but he always bored me. I never appreciated him.
So though he is an innovator of sorts, you would not put him in the top 10?
I don't think he's an innovator. He just is a great groove player. I think he was a jazz player before he played soul, so he has good foundation. He's very good, but to me, he's just a little bland.
So more background and no showboating.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people love him. I don't love him.
Personally, you do not love him. All right. Number 9, Al Jackson Jr.
I don't mind him. I'm
From
not
the
saying
Rolling
he's bad.
Stone list.
I'm not saying he's bad.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. Number 9 from LA Weekly, Buddy Rich.
Well, yeah, I mean, Buddy Rich is top 10 drummer. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt about it. Number 9 is fine. Should it be higher for you, or is number 9 a solid place?
That's fine. It could be higher. He could be number 1. He could be number 2. I don't know.
Okay. So you're, says right here, Buddy Rich, no drummer from the jazz world had more influence on rock percussion than Bernard Buddy Rich. His arrival in the late 30s was without precedent, a flashy, aggressive, self-taught Jewish kid from Manhattan, taking extended solos that showcased his dazzling speed and intricate stick work at a time when most drummers were content to be timekeepers.
Okay. Dear LA Weekly. Gene Krupa.
Okay.
Gene Krupa had 100 times more influence on rock drummers because his drumming was actually something you could imitate. Rock drummers couldn't approach Buddy Rich. They couldn't get near what he was playing. Gene Krupa is what inspired Wipeout. Gene Krupa is why there's fucking Keith Moon. You don't think Keith Moon and Gene Krupa have some similarities? There's no similarities between Keith Moon and Buddy Rich.
So you agree with Buddy Rich being on their list at number 9?
He's not the most influential rock drummers.
But you disagree about what they're saying about him.
I disagree.
Good. All right. Back to Gibson.com's list. Number 8, Josh Freese.
Fuck out of here.
One of the most sought-after studio drummers in rock music, both for his precision and jackhammer groove, Josh Freese has appeared on nearly 300 records, including Puddle of Mud, The Offspring, Three Doors Down, Avril Lavigne, and Tracy Bonham.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
He's also the skins man for A Perfect Circle, Devo, and the Vandals, and has toured with Nine Inch Nails and Guns N' Roses. Not many drummers can honestly claim to have experience in every given style of music, from rock to jazz to metal, but his capability runs the gamut of modern
what
music.
Jazz?
I don't know.
Shut the fuck up.
Dear
Jazz.
Gibson.com.
Josh Freese does not play jazz. You idiots.
So he is not a top 10, clearly.
No, he's a great studio drummer. He's a great drummer if you like Green Day.
Is he better than Steve Gadd?
No.
Okay.
He might be able to run around the block faster than Steve Gadd.
All right. So Josh Freese, sorry, you've been booted out of the top 10.
Fuck Josh Freese. You hear him play with Sting? He sucks. We talk about not serving the music. Overplay much?
Oh.
Josh Freese.
Is he showboating Josh Freese?
Freeze his chops and slow down a little bit.
Freese?
Take a freeze on that caffeine, you fucking weirdo.
All right.
Josh Freese.
There's
a reason no one's heard of him.
Well, apparently people have heard of him if he's making the top 10 list there.
Josh Freese.
UltimateGuitar.com gives their number 8 spot to Jimmy the Rev Sullivan.
He's no longer alive.
Jimmy died in 2009 after accidentally overdosing on prescription drugs, but his legacy lives on. Raised on a diet of metal and progressive rock, the Rev made his name as a multi-talented songwriter for Avenged Sevenfold.
Well, I'll tell you what, Avenged Sevenfold's got some badass, kick-ass grooves. I mean, that guy played very, very efficiently.
Is he a top 10?
Not in my opinion, but he's a good drummer.
He's a good drummer. So he is definitely worthy of the mention. Is he better than Josh Freese?
I have a feeling there's a reason Josh Freese was on all those albums and the Rev was not.
Oh.
I think Josh Freese is more well-rounded.
All right. So, okay. So you're coming back to Josh Freese.
No, he's not bad. He's
are you
just not
on Team Freese now, or are you still...
Why did you mention Josh Freese? Did you mention Greg Bissonette? He's better than Josh Freese.
Okay.
Same world, same vibe.
I have not. I'm only mentioning the people. You will be free to mention whoever you'd like.
Josh Freese.
All right. So they're still angry about Josh Freese. The top 10s, the one where people are voting Lars as number 9 and Joey Jordison as number 10, they give their number 8 to James the Rev Sullivan.
Weird. All right. So it's popular
God
stuff.
rest his soul. E-Drum Reviews. Ian Pace, 10. Cindy Blackman, number 9. Number 8, Mitch Mitchell.
Yeah.
And here we have another one of our very popular band drummers, Mitch Mitchell. He played alongside one of the most influential musicians of the bygone era, Jimi Hendrix, in his band, The Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Hey, if Mitch Mitchell's so great, how come his career ended after he stopped playing with Hendrix? How come he's not? How come? How come if Mitch Mitchell's so good, how come he didn't go on to play with all these other artists?
He performed as the session drummer for many upcoming and well-known bands like Pretty Things, The Riot Squad, and The Who.
The Who? He didn't play with The Who. Shut up. If he played with The Who, it was like he jammed with Pete Townsend, in a fucking bathroom. He didn't play with The Who. That's absurd. He had a band called fucking... What was it called? Ugh. I don't know what it's called.
That's a terrible name for a
Let me
band.
tell you, he's a good drummer, but the drugs got the better of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's some stuff where he's so out of time, it's not even acceptable. And then there's other stuff where he's playing some pretty damn unique shit. So, yeah, I would say he's maybe top 10 in the rock world.
Ah, okay.
But not really. Not really. He's top 10. Oh. He's top 10 influential, but not top 10 drummer.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting...
Mitch Mitchell is nowhere near Ginger Baker.
All right.
And he's nowhere near John Bonham. He's close to Keith Moon.
Is he close to Josh Freese?
No, way more influential than Josh Freese.
All right.
Josh Freese probably wouldn't even be playing drums like he is if it wasn't for Mitch Mitchell.
Okay. So he's an innovator of some kind.
Yes.
And an inspirator, but perhaps...
Mitch's drumming on album is great.
Okay.
But you can hear on all the outtakes and the later stuff, he's not great.
I see. All right. Well, there you go. I guess you only have to be great once in the studio per song, right?
He was good when he wasn't too fucked up.
Well, there you go. Stay off the drugs, kids. Now we're on to the RollingStone.com top 10 drummers of all times. Number 8, also Mitch Mitchell.
Okay.
So there you go. It says here, he played the kit like a song. It was just wonderful, said Roger Taylor of Queen, praising Mitch Mitchell's fusion of jazz technique and wonderful riffs, but with this rolling, ferocious attack on the whole kit. Total integration into the song, not just marking time.
Yep.
So you agree. So you say, okay, yeah, top 10 is fine.
Yeah.
All right.
He's very good.
LA Weekly, number 8, Josh Freese. So we've got, I think, 3 Josh Freese.
This sounds suspect to me. They must have had some sort of a thing with possible entries on it. And people just said, no one just comes out of the midair, Josh Freese.
So you think they gave a list of 20 names and said put these in
this category,
top 10 or whatever?
They had to have. I think this is a multiple choice. Honestly.
They say Josh Freese gives Devo a pogo dancing backbone.
Devo hasn't been relevant for 30 years. What are they talking about?
He's delivered full-body rhythmic workouts with 9 Inch Nails. He's proven himself a kick-ass punk drummer as a longtime member of Orange County staples, The Vandals.
That's it. He's a punk rock drummer.
Oh, yeah, and he co-wrote the title track to Guns N' Roses' Chinese Democracy.
I don't even know what that song is.
I don't. I'm telling you, Josh Freese is a favorite of I don't know. I don't know, but he was number 8 on 3 of our 6 lists. So that's something.
Totally out.
Dave's not down with that. You have nothing against him personally. You just don't believe he's a top 10 lister. That's fine.
Josh Freese, Joey Jordison.
Dave Lombardo.
Dave Lombardo's the best of those guys, but I don't know about top 10. That's kind of insane.
Let's go back to Gibson, shall we? Number 7. Here's one I think you'll like. Number 7. Ginger Baker. During his time manning the drum kit for Cream, Ginger Baker essentially invented the rock drum solo. His pioneering use of double bass drums marked Baker as one of the most influential drummers of the 60s, with a thick, thunderous sound that has inspired nearly every heavy metal drummer that's followed.
Okay, he hasn't inspired barely any heavy metal drummers.
Okay.
Other than that, yeah, he's extremely influential to musicians. Not heavy metal drummers. No, I do not see that.
Oh, Gibson, why are you fucking up?
Makes no sense. That's like ridiculous. Ginger Baker's heart is as a bebop drummer. That's what he is. That's why he's a heroin addict. His favorite drummer and teacher was Phil Seaman, the famous English junkie jazz drummer. He's a jazz drummer. He happened to play rock. If you ever listen to anything he does, it's always jazz put to rock. That's what he does. Like it or not, it's not heavy metal. It has nothing to do with heavy metal. That's the most ridiculous. That's like saying that Louis Bellson invented heavy metal because he used 2 bass drums. Who owns Gibson?
I don't know.
Fucking tools.
UltimateGuitar.com gives their number 7 to Keith Moon. Keith Moon was insane in every sense of the word. As a person, people would call him a walking asylum, and it fed straight into his performance. Where other drummers would play a solid backbeat, Moon would explode with an unpredictable style that made The Who one of the most compelling and energetic live acts of their era. He overdosed on an alcohol withdrawal drug in 1978. Number 7, UltimateGuitar.com, Keith Moon.
I think that's true, but I don't think anyone ever called him a walking asylum. I've never ever heard that reference, and I've read a lot about Keith Moon.
You love Keith Moon, so you know a lot about him.
Yeah.
And that would be a reference you've never heard.
Never heard the walking asylum reference. So I question everything else they say. Other than that, yeah, he's not really, though. He's not really a top 10 drummer.
What?
He's a great musician, and he's gratefully influential. But he's so unique and so... He's not a real drummer. He's a force of nature. He's not a real drummer, though. I don't know. He pretended he was a drummer. He's not like a drummer. I don't know how to put it. He stopped being a drummer by 1970.
And what was he doing? Just a...
He's more like a percussionist on a drum kit.
Okay.
He's not a set drummer. He doesn't play like a normal drum set player. No one ever plays like him. No one ever played like him. Totally unique, 100% unique. He doesn't have proper technique though. He's a perfect storm. You could never emulate him without coming off like a joke. He's not real, but he's something else that's more than real. He's not a drummer. I don't know how to put it. He didn't have proper technique, and then he wouldn't play for a year or two, and then he would pick up the drums and start playing again. And when he wasn't playing, he was, pretending he was in the Beach Boys.
What?
He wore those outfits. He would wear those 1940s bathing suits. Parade around, putting on Nazi outfits. He was having fun. He wasn't a drummer. He was a lunatic who happened to be able to be musical on the drums. I don't know how to put it. I don't know. I guess it's the drugs, maybe. I guess the drugs just fucked it all up.
Is it the cocaine again? Or just
mostly
just liquor?
Pills, I think. Liquor and pills with him. And I don't know. No, he wasn't. No, it's not that. It was more like liquor and pills. I think liquor. I think he was a big, big alcoholic.
Couldn't handle his brown?
Yes. Like a manic alcoholic. Extreme highs, extreme lows. And, all this when he was a kid. So by the time he became 30, he couldn't sustain anymore,
Yeah.
Amazing. He plays some amazing stuff, but it's just, I don't know. It's weird, hard to describe.
I know you do adore him, but
he's one of my favorites, but
you couldn't put him in the top 10.
No, you can't put him in the top 10 drummers. He's just,
because he's not actually drumming. It's something else.
It's drumming, but it's like drumming. You know what it is? It's someone who's really musically inclined, who has no real training, who just happens to be amazing at what they do. It's almost as like if he was like a great guitar player who just was also able to play drums, but had no understanding of what he was really doing.
But still, it came out well.
Came out amazingly. But it's not, it's an accidental genius. It's not, I don't know how to put it.
All right. Well, that's fine. So you wouldn't put him in the top 10, but you can understand why people would.
I guess I'd put him in the top 10, but it's a weird top 10. He's like one of those guys. He's like phenomenon. Not normal. He's not normal.
Okay. All right. I understand that. Number from the top 10s, the voting site, their number 7 is Glenn Power.
All right. I have no idea who that is. This is the first one I have not heard of.
Okay, let me read a little bit. Anyone who's ever heard the script, live or otherwise,
I haven't heard the script,
can confidently agree with me in saying that Glenn Power is a force to be reckoned with.
All right.
Not only can he drum with incredible skill and talent, he can sing, write songs, and play the guitar and the piano. He is a living legend.
Someone likes Glenn Power.
Why don't you hold on one second?
Wait, these people voted for Glenn Power?
Yes. Okay, so you cannot judge somebody from a minute video, but we did just watch a Glenn Power in the studio with Glenn Power video on the YouTubes, and top 10?
I have no idea why it was mentioned.
Okay. Okay, this is the top 10s, the voter site. So maybe once again, we just have fans of his band voting him up. So the top10s.com, Glenn Power. Dave had never heard of him. We played a little video, and little sloppy. Number 7, according to eDrum Reviews, is Steven Adler's.
That's
They spelled it wrong.
There's no S there.
Steven Adler. Okay, eDrum Reviews. So, Steven Adler, let's move on to some of the old school drummers now, shall we? And when we say old school, there is no band quite as vivid in our minds and memory like Guns N' Roses. Well, Steven Adler is all to be thanked for that, one of the greatest drummers all times. So, eDrum Reviews, maybe not a site where English is their first language, I'm just going to say. But they still put Steven Adler at number 7. What do you think?
Steven Adler's.
What do you think about Steven Adler?
Skulls and Adler's.
What do you think? Top 10?
No, not at all.
Top?
He's not in there.
Top 50?
Nope.
Okay. And they're calling him old school, so they must be young people not from this country.
Steven Adler's.
So he was there. eDrum Reviews number 7, Steven Adler's.
I'm more into Matt Sorum's.
Number 7 from Rolling Stone, Gene Krupa.
Hey now.
He was the first rock drummer in very many ways, Neil Peart told NPR of Gene Krupa in 2015. He was the first drummer to command the spotlight and the first drummer to be celebrated for his solos.
I agree.
He did fundamentally easy things, but always made them look spectacular. Krupa's flailing attack, 4-on-the-floor bass drum tattoo, and manically funky cowbell work, influenced by New Orleans drummers Baby Dodds and Zuggy Singleton. Zooty Singleton drove Benny Goodman's innovative 30s big band to new heights, and in the process inspired a generation of future rock giants, including Keith Moon and John Bonham.
Yes.
Gene Krupa, number 7. You are fine with that.
It's okay. That's fine.
You are fine with Gene Krupa in the top 10?
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
Excellent. Is he the one who was married to Pearl Bailey?
No, he was not.
Who was that?
Louis Belson.
Louis Belson. Okay. My apologies.
They all look alike.
LA Weekly. Let's just remind everyone that they had Josh.
I love that band. I thought it was LA Guns, though.
Josh Freese was their number 8. Their number 7 is Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl may be our favorite Valley dad, sorry Kanye, but he's also been behind the drum kit in some of our favorite bands. Queens of the Stone Age, 9 Inch Nails, Them Crooked Vultures, and of course...
Who doesn't play for 9 Inch Nails? What the fuck?
Nirvana, and arguably one of the most influential rock acts of our time. So, do you agree with Dave Grohl, top 10 drummers of all time?
No.
Top 20?
No.
Do you think Dave Grohl thinks he's a top 10 drummer?
No.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair then. If he thinks he's not, then that's probably good.
I don't think he would think such a thing.
Okay. Then I have a little, you know what I mean? If somebody thinks that they belong in the top 10, I start to think they're a little shady. Do you think you deserve to be in the top 10?
Yeah.
Okay. I always knew you were shady, though.
Yes, I mean the top 10.
I don't like the LA Weekly list. It seems like were trying to sell something. Back to Gibson. They're number 6, Gibson.com. Number 6, Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater.
Pike Mortnoy.
As drummer and founding member for Dream Theater, Mike Portnoy helped define the progressive rock drumming style with a basic but meticulous approach to technique. While Portnoy wasn't the fastest player or flashiest soloist, his main objective was to serve the greater musical picture and experiment whenever it fit.
Yeah, he's a real Ringo Starr.
So, Mike Portnoy, Dream Theater, top 10 of all time, Dave.
No.
Top 20.
Not in my book.
All right.
Good drummer, though.
Good drummer. Mm-hmm. You're not saying he's a bad drummer.
No.
But you're saying...
He's not my cup of tea.
He's no Bernard Purdy.
No, and he's no Todd Zuckerman. Zuckerman.
Okay.
If I'm going to go for that style, I'll take Todd Zuckerman.
UltimateGuitar.com. They're number 6. Also Mike Portnoy. So there you go.
What a strange world we live in.
The top 10 voting list, which is very funny. Their number 6 is Dave Grohl.
Okay.
eDrum Reviews, the young foreigners, have Chad Smith as number 6. Chad Smith. Chad Smith, full name Chadwick Gaylord Smith, is a drummer with enough buzz to wake up the dead, and not to mention, he is also the lead drummer for the band Red Hot Chili Peppers. So, what do you think about Chad Smith? He hasn't not talked about him yet.
I would say that Chad Smith is a good drummer.
Good drummer, not very good.
I liked him more on SNL.
Oh God,
that especially in the stuff he did with Sherry O'Terry. But let me tell you.
Yes.
I don't particularly love Chad Smith.
Oh.
But, on the other hand.
Yes.
As Chad Smith would tell you.
Uh-huh.
The Chili Peppers sold a lot more albums once he got in the band.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah. They became 100% more popular and successful once Chad Smith joined the band. Now, is that a coincidence? Is that just timing? Is that just what it is? I don't know what it is. But before Chad Smith was in the band, they weren't that popular. Ever since, very popular. And,
okay.
The other thing is
who was their original
Jordan
drummer?
Doesn't like Chad Smith.
Steve Jordan doesn't like.
Steve Jordan don't like Chad Smith. I gotta defer to Steve Jordan.
Okay.
And in a magazine article in the 90s, Steve Jordan said that Chad Smith wasn't funky.
Oh, okay. Well.
And he said, as a matter of fact, that's not funk. And then he said, this is funk. And he pointed to two princes, Aaron Comas.
Wow.
He said, now that is funky.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's amazing. Well, good for Aaron Comas.
Yeah.
So number 6, Chad Smith, you don't agree with. Definitely not a top 10.
No.
Now you just said.
I like Jack Irons more.
Do you just say he's a good drummer? So so far you've been calling people great, very good.
He's a good drummer. He's a good drummer.
He's just good.
Yeah, in my opinion, he is just good.
All right. On to Rolling Stone.
He's a little bit harsh. He's a little stiff.
Number 6 from RollingStone.com, Clyde Stubblefield and John Jabo Starks.
Yeah, what are they, attached at the hip?
At the height of his band's rhythmic revolutions, James Brown's percussion section was anchored by not one but two master drummers, the woefully underrated John Jabo Starks and Mr. Funky drummer himself, Clyde Stubblefield. So they're kind of shoehorning in two men here. Two men. Why is that? Oh, because he had two drummers on stage?
He did have two drummers on stage,
Gotcha.
and they wouldn't play at the same time, which was unique.
Oh.
Clyde played all the funky stuff, and John Starks was more of a shuffle, and I think he was a little more of a New Orleans vibe. I'm not sure. Clyde Stubblefield, in my opinion, is top 10.
Oh, okay.
John Starks, not as much.
Not as much. There's no reason for a Rolling Stone to shove them two together.
Clyde Stubblefield is probably the most sampled drummer ever in hip hop. He's the funky drummer.
Wow.
That's pretty much his beat sampled verbatim.
Oh, God. So you agree with Stubblefield being in the top 10?
Clyde Stubblefield,
Mr. Stubblefield
was so underpaid for his samples that he couldn't afford cancer treatment. Prince anonymously paid for his cancer treatment.
Wow, really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was not revealed till after Prince died.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he still alive today or did he pass away?
Clyde?
Yeah.
He passed away recently.
Oh.
But he was old.
All right. Well, that's amazing and good for Prince.
Man, now Clyde Stubblefield influenced everybody. Now, he really did influence everybody after that. He influenced everyone, whether they realized it or not. Everyone who plays drums after hip-hop was influenced by him.
Then he is a worthy...
Yeah, and then even guys
list.
before that shit, like Mike Clark, were influenced by him. Because, like, everyone was influenced by James Brown. Sly Stone was influenced by James Brown. So, Gregorico. Everyone, anyone who's hip was influenced by Clyde Stubblefield.
Excellent. Good.
Including John fucking Bonham.
There you go. We'll get to him eventually. LA Weekly's number 6, Sheila E.
Oh, come on.
Dude, I'm telling you, LA Weekly is trying very hard to appeal to I guess, I don't know who they're trying to appeal to, but it certainly isn't real people who are fans of drummers. That's what I'm getting here. Sheila E. While most of us are barely figuring out our lives in our early 20s, Sheila E. had already been discovered by Prince and performed with Herbie Hancock, Lionel Richie, Marvin Gaye, and Diana Ross. So...
Yeah, like... Yeah, like fucking Sheila E. just popped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
She comes from a fucking family of musicians who have been discovered for years. Her father or brother, whatever, played with fucking Santana. Coque Escovedo. Pete, her brother. It's all the whole thing. She's not just some...
Right. She wasn't plucked out of obscurity.
No. She was trained to be a musician, and she's a better percussion player than she is drum set player. So I don't even... Why would you mention her? Why wouldn't you just mention Tito Puente then?
Because they want to shoehorn women in here when it's not necessary.
Fail.
Yeah.
Hashtag me no.
Me no too. All right. So, I had told you LA Weekly's list was the most offensive to me. Gibson's number 5, Lars Ulrich.
Ugh.
We've already discussed Mr. Ulrich. Is it Ulrich?
I think it's Ulrich.
I'm going to say Ulrich because why not? Fuck me. We've already, they say metal hasn't seen a more interesting and perhaps eccentric drummer than Lars Ulrich. As a founding member, songwriter, and drummer for Metal Goliath's Metallica, he has been the thrashing force behind some of the best-known metal tracks ever recorded. His drumming style is simple, but always smart and strong. No, Gibson. Number 5 for the ultimateguitar.com website, Dave Grohl.
No.
The wacky voter top 10s list, number 5. Buddy Rich.
Okay, fair enough.
They got one right. Bernard Buddy Rich was an American jazz drummer and band leader, widely considered one of the most influential drummers of all time, and known for his virtuoso technique, power, and speed. Rich was billed as the world's greatest drummer during his career.
Fair enough.
You agree with all of that?
Yeah.
Buddy Rich, definitely top 10.
Yeah.
E-Drum Reviews. Meg White is their
Shut
number
up.
5.
That can't even be serious.
E-Drum Reviews.
That cannot be serious.
Oh, man.
Is that even a real person?
Meg
Does she actually exist?
White. And as an ode to female drummers, we have one outstanding female drummer yet again in Megan White. White's versatile and powerful drumming was sure to move some heads when she entered the scene.
Oh, wow. What band does she play with now? Retards. Retarded.
Oh, E-Drum Reviews. You don't disappoint. You really don't disappoint. Even that got a giggle from me.
That's ridiculous.
She's terrible. Right?
I don't even know if she plays the drums. I don't know that she does.
Yeah. She's
I guess she played it.
Eye candy.
She's like, hey.
Yeah. It's like if you went out there and I played the drums for you. Number 5 from Rolling Stone. Once again, I think the best list of the lot. Hal Blaine.
All right.
If Hal Blaine had played drums only on the Ronettes, Be My Baby, his name would still be uttered with reverence, Max Weinberg once said. But the drummer-born Harold Simon Belsky did so much more, recording with Sinatra, the Beach Boys, Elvis, and the Supremes, to name just a few. Leader of the Wrecking Crew, the group of LA session players that dominated the studio scene in the 60s and 70s, Blaine is the most recorded drummer in history. He lost count of his titles around the 35,000 mark.
Holy shit.
But among those are 150 top 10 hits and 40 number ones.
Yeah, Hal Blaine's great.
Hal Blaine, definitely top 10.
Yeah, Hal Blaine. Look, Hal Blaine is in the top 10, and he's in the same category as Josh Freese. He's a behind-the-scenes guy who makes session recordings. Josh Freese is no Hal Blaine.
Is Josh Freese a Bernard Purdy?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure. I'm just throwing these other names out there to see if, how Josh Freese compares. He's no Hal Blaine, though. That's for darn sure. LA Weekly's number 5, Stephen Perkins.
Ridiculous.
Jane's Addiction deep guttural rhythms are as vital to the band's sound as Perry Farrell's cosmic wail and Dave Navarro's ravaging riffs. And though Eric Avery's bass lines might grab more attention on track lead-ins and chorus breaks, it's the drums that hold down all the good stuff in between. Number 5, Jane's Addiction's Stephen Perkins.
He's a good drummer.
He's just good.
He's a very good drummer.
Very good. Okay. Top 10.
Not in my opinion.
Top 20?
No.
Okay. That's okay. LA Weekly and E-Drums. The problem with the LA Weekly, though, is that that's like a real newspaper. E-Drums Review is not, but they are both quite laughable. Number 4 for Gibson, Dave Grohl.
Oy.
I don't understand it. Maybe they're just going for people who are alive, who can maybe somehow do something for their site, like retweet. Is that maybe what was happening here?
I just don't know. What is this, a list of drummers?
Top 10 drummers of all time.
That doesn't make any sense.
UltimateGuitar.com's number 4, Danny Carey.
Good drummer.
Danny Carey saw that 2 drummers for his neighbor's band never showed up, so he stepped in. Little did he know that it would lead to him becoming one of the best metal drummers in history. Inspired by geometry, mathematics, and the occult, Carey's style is complex but somehow rounded with a hard-hitting grace that few can match. With his help, Tool albums are a feast of polyrhythms.
I don't think of him as a metal drummer, but he is definitely a mathy drummer.
A mathy drummer. Now, what is that? What is
very calculated and very, very time signature oriented.
Okay.
He's not just grooving.
Right.
He plays complex polyrhythmic pieces that are not in 4/4 necessarily.
Okay. And top 10 for you?
No.
But
He's a very good drummer. He's better than you think.
I don't know. I have no. Don't say that. I don't think he's anything. I'm asking you.
No.
Not top 10, but very good.
Yeah.
Josh Reese, good?
Way better than Josh
Freese. I forgot that guy's name already. All right. The top 10 voter list. Number 4, Keith Moon.
All right. We already went over him. That's fine. I understand.
I understand that you understand. E-Drum Reviews, number 4, Janet Weiss. Janet Weiss is evident that drumming is not limited to males only. If anything at all, she gives some of the top drummers a good run for their money and is not afraid to show it.
I don't know who she is.
She joined an all-female trio band called The Furies when she was just 22 years old, and then sometime later joined Motor Goat.
I'm speechless. This person may or may not even exist as far as I can tell you.
Janet Weiss.
What else has she done?
Today, Janet Weiss has remained active in some very successful bands, including Quasi, Sleater Kinney, and Wild Flag.
Slater Kinney?
Slater?
I don't know. Sounds like some sort of a
Sleater.
doctor's corporation.
She is regarded to be one of the best drummers around for her amazing presence on stage and with the drumsticks.
What?
She may be deemed as one of the top 50 greatest drummers by Stylist magazine and one of top 20 by LA Weekly.
They're fucking retarded.
Yep.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, E-Drum Reviews. Let's go back to the best list so far. Rolling Stones, number 4, Neil Peart. From Rush, of course. I don't have to really read anything about him, but
I'd say that Neil Peart is unique and highly influential.
okay, so definitely top 10.
I think he might be in there.
Yeah, well,
He's not one of my favorites.
he's not,
No, but
but you understand completely why
he's
he
heavily,
was in top 10.
heavily influential. He's as influential as Peter Criss.
Peter Criss?
Yeah.
You think Peter Criss was influential?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
Everyone was influenced by Peter Criss
Really?
in the hard rock world. Yeah. Everyone.
Peter Criss.
Steven Adler.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely. 100%.
Those are words I did not think to...
I'm not into Peter Criss, but Peter Criss spawned a whole generation. I don't think there'd be Guns N' Roses without Kiss.
Wow.
Why would there be?
You are really... That's amazing.
Peter Criss
amazing me
is
right
a
now.
huge influence on hard rock. And Neil Peart is a huge influence on progressive rock.
That's outstanding. Okay. On to LA Weekly. Their number 4, Keith Moon.
All right.
So Keith Moon is obviously on everybody's mind for top 10.
That's good.
Yeah. It says here, Keith Moon never practiced a lick. He never trained his left foot to lead while he jumped off his throne and fell into a whirlwind of fills, in and out of time like a spider on speed.
Okay.
So pretty much what you were saying.
Yeah.
Number 3 from Gibson.com, Keith Moon.
Who? I never heard of him.
All right. UltimateGuitar.com's number 3, Chad Smith.
Yeah, no, but that's fine.
I mean, if he's not a top 10, he should definitely not be a top 3. Is that correct?
No. I like Chad Wackerman more.
I don't know who that is.
Well, you should.
Okay. Number 3 on the top10s.com, the voting site, they have voted Mike Portnoy.
Oh.
Michael Portnoy is an American drummer, primarily known as the former drummer, backing vocalist, and co-founder of the progressive metal band Dream Theater.
He's good. We've talked about him.
We've already spoken about him. He's number 3 from the voters. eDrum Review, I'm afraid to look who their number 3 is. Chris Daddy Dave.
Wow. Well, that's funny that he's just barely better than Meg White.
Chris is the perfect example showing how your big break, your career, and life itself can be born out of the oddest of background, and you will still shine with the stars.
How could you say to yourself? How you think there's anyone in the world who says, my influences are Meg White, Chris Daddy Dave, that kind of thing.
So talk to me about Chris Daddy Dave.
Chris Daddy Dave is so innovative. I'm surprised that anyone can understand what he's playing.
Really?
Yeah, he's elastic. He bends time, and he plays in and out of time and grooves, and he's so natural. He's one of these guys that makes white people just look really stupid. Honestly, he's phenomenal. He's a phenom. He's some I don't know how to put it, but some people play the drums just like it's part of them. Like they never needed to take a lesson. It appears they probably never took lessons, and it was just instantly accessible. They must have been able to do this at age 10. That's what it appears with him. He makes it look effortless.
So, top 10.
Well,
here we go.
His playing is top 10, but, there's probably 100 guys you could pick as well as him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but okay, that's fine. He's so much better than Lars Ulrich, it's ridiculous.
And Josh Freese?
Yeah, and Meg White and Janet Weiss.
Whoever she is.
Chris Daddy Dave is truly a unique player. He's actually a modern innovator. He is a hip-hop influenced modern jazz musician.
All right. I have not heard of Chris Daddy Dave.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Number 3 from RollingStone.com, Ginger Baker.
All right. I like that.
Gifted with immense talent and cursed with a temper to match, Ginger Baker combined jazz training with a powerful polyrhythmic style in the world's first and best power trio.
Yeah, I'm only going to give him top 10 because of his influence on other musicians and because where he's coming from is so great. Because he's coming from Charlie Parker vibe. And as an English white guy into Charlie Parker, that's pretty unique. And because of what he was into and his dedication to that music, he influenced rock music and he influenced the world. Technically, he's not the greatest drummer. He's not the greatest bebop drummer. He's not the greatest rock drummer. But he is the greatest bebop drummer to play rock in the 60s and influence the world.
Wow. Ginger Baker, number 3 on the Rolling Stone list. Here we go to LA Weekly. Their number 3, Charlie Watts. While it's been said that his bandmate Keith Richards cannot be killed by conventional weapons, Charlie Watts is simply immortal. A self-taught jazz fanatic with an insane work ethic, he makes 50 years of anchoring the world's most prolific rock band look like he just rolled out of bed that way. So Charlie Watts of the Rolling Stones.
Well, he may be a self-taught jazz fanatic, but he didn't self-teach himself jazz. He's self-taught drummer who happens to love jazz. He's not a jazz drummer. He can't play jazz. He doesn't swing. He doesn't have the finesse. He doesn't have the technical capability to play that kind of music. he has the ability to discuss it. He knows a lot about records and the history of jazz. He's not a jazz musician. He's a second-rate Ringo Starr, but he's part of one of the best bands ever.
So not a top 10 as far as you're concerned?
No. He's like Ringo Starr, but not as innovative. Honestly, you could have replaced Charlie Watts with a lot of guys, and I think that band would have still been successful.
All right. Back to Gibson.com. Their number 2, Neil Peart. Peart. So we've already discussed him at length.
Yeah, I mean, he's, that's a small world if you think that Neil Peart's the second best drummer in the world, but that's fine. I mean, your knowledge is limited if that's your opinion, I got to tell you.
All right. Yeah. Well, I can
That's
see
like
where
saying
you're coming.
Jimi Hendrix is the best guitarist ever.
Who do you think is the best guitarist?
Well, I don't know, but there's so many guys who could play circles around Jimi Hendrix. And even back then, Jimmy wouldn't have said he was the best guitarist. I mean, that's just idiot. That's idiotic. He might be the most innovative. He might be the most influential. You might like him the most.
I see.
But he's not the best.
Gotcha.
He's just not.
Maybe that's what these lists are maybe.
Well, some of this shit's more
compiled by that.
concrete. You know what I mean? Like, Eddie Van Halen has way better technique than Jimi Hendrix. Is he better? I don't know. He wouldn't exist if Hendrix wasn't first. I know that.
Right. And he would probably tell you that.
Maybe, but I never heard Eddie say that he liked Jimi Hendrix. He's more influenced by Clapton, which is weird.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. UltimateGuitar.com. Their number 2, John Bonham.
Okay. I like it. That's good.
You're fine with him being number 2. He's top 10 for you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that he's number 2, but he's definitely a top 10 drummer. Yep.
Excellent.
Now, he's a case of extremely influential and one of the better drummers ever. Definitely one of the better drummers ever.
And what about his son, Jason? Is he also good?
Not anywhere near as good as he is.
Oh, okay.
Not in the same league at all.
Really?
Yeah. Just no. Nope.
Wow. Okay.
Listen to some Zeppelin or recordings with him on drums. You can tell it's not his father, and it doesn't sound right.
Wow. Okay. So John Bonham, number 2, you're completely on board with.
Yeah.
The voting site, top10s.com, number 2, John Bonham.
Hello.
John Bonham, so much better than Mike Portnoy, in my opinion.
All right. I don't know what to say.
I don't know. I never liked Dream Theater.
Okay. That's fine. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Number 2 from eDrum Reviews, Ringo Starr.
Crazy, but okay. He's, like I said, he's an amazingly influential drummer and a perfect example of someone who plays the perfect part for the song.
Right.
But it's not like he had a choice, honestly. That's what I'm saying. He didn't have a choice. He wasn't like, oh, I have all these chops here. I can choose from 100 bag of grooves or 100
Oh, I see.
This is like, it just so happens that what I'm playing here will work. So let me just play this. I can't play this fill, so I'm not gonna. That kind of thing.
Okay.
And the fills he played were like him imitating jazz drummers. So they're really like sort of simple jazzy fills, but they're not real jazz fills because he's not a real jazz drummer. But he was influenced by swing drummers.
I see.
Like Gene Krupa and stuff. So that's like, and whatever the fuck he was influenced by. That skittle music or whatever the fuck they call it.
Skittles.
Scuffle.
Skittles.
Some sort of like
Taste the Rainbow.
English
Oh.
weird jug band music or some shit.
I guess I don't know what that is at all, but that sounds fun.
Like English rockabilly or some shit.
Number 2 on the Rolling Stone list, Keith Moon.
All right, good. I like it. He's in there.
The greatest Keith Moon type drummer in the world, as he described himself aboard the of rote rock drumming, as well as the repetition in life in general. Moon, the inspiration for the Muppets character Animal, smashed drum kits and hotel rooms with a ferocity suggesting he was more performance artist than mere rock sticksman.
All right. Yeah, we talked about him already. It is what it is.
Number 2 from LA Weekly, Clyde Stubblefield.
So bizarre.
Most of their picks are not great, but at least you agree with Clyde Stubblefield, yes?
Yeah, he's top 10 for sure.
Excellent. Number 1, Gibson.com, John Bonham.
Hey now.
Would you put him at number 1?
Not necessarily, but he's in there.
Okay.
He could be number 1. There's an argument for it for sure.
UltimateGuitar.com's number 1, Neil Peart. The top 10s.
Okay.
The top 10s.com voter site gives Neil Peart their number 1.
Apparently, the only black jazz drummer any of these people have ever heard of is Chris Daddy Dave.
Or Sheila E., or was she not jazz?
She's not black.
Oh, sorry. Let's cut that part out.
She's from Planet of the Apes. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
That was not good for you to say.
Anyway,
let's get through this list. eDrumReviews.com gives their number 1 to Travis Barker.
oh, come on. Stop it.
Let's start our countdown with a drummer who is the textbook definition of a modern-day drummer. Tattooed, a rebel, a heartthrob, and bold. It's none other than Travis Landon Barker. He is everything a drummer is stereotypes about. That's their grammar. And we don't mind because he pulls it off perfectly.
What does he pull off?
Everything a drummer is stereotypes about.
Which nothing has anything to do with music? There's no music involved with those descriptions.
Tattooed, a rebel, a heartthrob, and bold.
That is not describing music.
They are saying that the drummer for Blink-182 is the best drummer of all times. That was what eDrumReviews.com says.
Thanks, Obama.
I don't know why you would say that, but yeah. Is he very good?
He's not very good. He's terrible.
He's terrible. Okay.
He's the worst. He's the example of the worst. He's good at surviving plane crashes. That's it.
All right. So he does not deserve, he's not in your top 50. He's not, okay. I see. That was such disdain. Number 1, John Bonham. For RollingStone.com, they give it to John Bonham. We've spoken about him. You have no problem with John Bonham being number 1.
He hates those cans.
I don't know why you're saying that.
But he loves John Bonham.
All right. And LA Weekly's number 1, John Bonham.
Oh, it's the John Bonham Day.
So other than the weird Travis Barkley, I think they all agree
Barker.
Barker?
Travis Barkley. That's a good name for a band.
Travis Barker. Gnarls Travis Barkley.
You talking to me?
All I can say is that
Bickle.
the consensus seems to be between John Bonham and Neil Peart. Peart. Oh, God, Dave, you don't have to be so loud. I'm right here, baby.
Certainly. I love Neil Peart.
Okay. So that seems to be the ones and the twos of it for most of these lists, except for Travis Barker. Travis Carnival Barker. Heartthrob, apparently.
Yeah.
That list was terrible.
That's unacceptable.
Now tell me, I've gone through, these were 6 top 10 lists of varying degrees of legitimacy as far as their sources. Who's not on these lists that you thought deserved to be?
Oh, God, I don't know. There's so many.
Steve Gadd.
Oh, geez, they didn't mention Steve Gadd.
Not one Steve Gadd.
Are they retarded?
Not one Bernard Purdy.
There's just a lot of people they didn't mention, you know what I'm saying? Like Art Blakey. Max Roach. Tony Williams. I'm saying, they never heard of black drummers. They don't know a black jazz drummer except for Chris Daddy Dave.
Yeah.
That's a disgrace. It's disgraceful.
These lists are pretty disgraceful.
Yeah. They're uneducated.
But they tried to shoehorn women in.
What's wrong with them? Meg White? Well, are you fucking kidding me? That's gotta, I mean, someone should burn down their fucking establishment. Hypothetically. Fuck them.
We're not asking you to do that, really.
I'm asking who in their right mind would fucking list Meg White? Does she even exist? That's
not anymore. I didn't see other bands clamoring for her.
What about Karen Carpenter? Maybe you should have her on the list.
She would have been more legitimate, but I hear that Hal Blaine played all of her parts, so.
Jesus.
Odd. Very odd, right?
Terrible. You have Mitch Mitchell, not Buddy Miles.
I feel like, yeah.
You have no one but not anyone.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
I don't know. There's a lot of drummers out there who were better than what they were mentioning.
I thought you would have something to say about all of this.
That is a good example of limited exposure voting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why everyone loves Mike Portnoy so much.
And no Gene Hoglan. Hoglan. Is he a top 10 for you?
He's not a top 10, but he's probably the best heavy hard rock drummer I've heard. He's one of the best. He plays I guess it's called death metal.
Ah.
But in reality, he's just very fast drummer, very good, innovative, creative drummer.
So you enjoy him more than, say, a Josh Freese?
Oh yeah, I enjoy him way more than that, and I enjoy the bass and drums a whole lot in that kind of music. I just don't like the guitar and vocals very much.
Yeah, I don't like the guitar and vocals either.
But the bass and drums, man, I'm just discovering that shit. It's fucking very good.
Good. All right. Well, this has been our drum show, our top 10 drum show.
Yeah, they got a lot of nerve with that list. That list is terrible. This is just a horrible list.
Not good.
I mean, the list is a bunch of lists.
6 lists.
6 lists. I agree with a couple of them, though. I mean, you know, obviously John Bonham's in there.
Hal Blaine, you agree with?
Yeah, you know, Hal Blaine for sure. But, you know, they could have mentioned a lot of people. I honestly feel like there was like a multiple choice or something.
Anywho, so this has been episode 16 of the Middle-Aged Cool Kids super terrific podcast featuring your pals
Pokey and Forrest.
I'm hoping I'm Forrest. Anyway.
I don't know, are you?
I don't want to be Pokey. That's a little weird. If you want to find out more about our show, you can go to the middleagedcoolkids.com, and we have all of the other 15 episodes there, and you can also subscribe to us on various platforms, including my new favorite one, BitChute.com. We have a channel on BitChute.
I have a channel on Shitboot, which is a whole other
You can also find us on iTunes,
German
Stitcher,
Shitboot. Actually,
TuneIn, Google Play, and YouTube.
Das Scheißerboot.
We are on Twitter at Middle-Aged Cool. It's really just me, but if you want to get Dave a message, just comment on Twitter or
don't engage the beast.
Well, we have comments that
I'm outside your window right now.
There are comment sections on the YouTubes that we engage with, or I engage with. Also,
I engage.
Also, you have anything you want to plug, Dave?
No.
Just want to throw a plug out there for our friend Garrison Scott and her book Plagued.
Her? I thought it was a guy. Oh, that changed everything.
Plagued, Book 1, The Girl Who Chased the Shadows, GarrisonWrites.com. It's a website made for adults who like pop-up books. You just click on something and it pops up at you.
My pony, bro.
Brony. My little
my
brony.
peony. My peronis.
Anyway, we will see you next time, America.
Goodbye.